Welcome to the Business Traveler Show. I'm your host, Joanna Gomez. The Petersen Automotive Museum in Los Angeles is showcasing an exhibit that celebrates the artistry and craftsmanship of lowrider culture. We interviewed curator Autumn Neary, who highlights a diverse collection of iconic and modern lowrider vehicles with exceptional paints, metalwork, interiors, and hydraulics.
My name is Autumn Neary. I'm an associate curator here at the Petersen Automotive Museum. I work on the exhibitions, doing research on vehicles, writing text, helping to select the vehicles that we feature, as well as other artifacts from our archives and elsewhere. Best in Low focuses on the artistry and craftsmanship that goes into building a lowrider. The Petersen Museum has had several exhibitions on lowriders, on the culture of cruising, on art that is inspired by lowriders, but this time we really focused on the vehicles themselves, on the techniques that go into creating an award-winning vehicle, and the culture and traditions that are passed down from family member to family member, creating new generations of craftsmen. For me, really talking about the traditions and the family aspect of lowriding culture, the way that fathers teach their sons who teach their sons, and they excel in these techniques, as well as the ways that techniques are shared with other craftsmen and between artists and artisans, and getting to talk to the families of lowrider builders and seeing what cars they think are the best and trying to have examples that they're excited to see, as well as our visitors. Well, the exhibition focuses on the various techniques of creating a lowrider, things like paint, engraving, interiors, and hydraulics. So we looked for cars that exemplified those techniques the best, as well as cars that are award winners, that are celebrated for their success in these areas. So we really chose from a huge pool of lowriders from across the Southwest and as far as Japan to showcase the best in craftsmanship when it comes to creating a lowrider vehicle. The history of lowrider culture in Los Angeles really got its start in the years following World War II as a sort of oppositional aesthetic to hot rodding, which was an activity particularly for white males. After World War II, they came back with mechanic skills and started working on hot rods, which are sleek and fast and raised. And the Chicano culture really came out with their own style, which was low and slow. And from there, the techniques developed to make them more stunning, more visually appealing. And Lowrider magazine was started to celebrate these cars. The Chicano culture obviously is alive and well in Los Angeles, and this was a way for families to celebrate their heritage together, for groups to come together for cruising on the boulevards and to celebrate these vehicles. So lowriding really has a place in Los Angeles cultural history, and it has been adopted by places as far as Japan and can be seen throughout the world now, but really calls Los Angeles home. So the things that have changed in lowriding culture from the first exhibition we did in 2000 on lowriders, they've just gotten more elaborate. The paint is shinier, chromier, the engraving is more detailed. Cars can do amazing tricks, not just hopping up and down with a hydraulic system, but going from side to side and around the world. As well as advances in lowrider bicycles have gotten more elaborate since the 1990s and continue to be really phenomenal pieces of artwork. So I think the cars are just getting better and more beautiful, and they're being celebrated in a wider field of car customization. The way that we got a lot of these vehicles into the exhibition is that they were brought here by their owners. When we bring cars in for exhibitions at the Petersen, frequently they are moved by a fine art car carrier. But in the case of these lowriders, they're so delicate and the hydraulics are so complex that they had to be brought in and installed by their owners. So it was great to really get to meet a lot of the owners and talk with them as they installed the vehicle. We have vehicles from across the Southwest, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, as well as North and South California. And we even brought a car in from Japan. The lowriding culture began in the 90s in Japan. They really adopted American lowriding techniques and have taken it and made it their own. So we brought in vehicles from Japan, which had to be flown here and was very tricky. The lowered stance of these vehicles makes transporting them quite a difficult feat. So getting these cars installed took much longer than it would to install a regular exhibition of vehicles. The reason people should come see Best in Low is that it celebrates the absolute best in lowrider artistry and craftsmanship. There's something here for the Chicano community. To see their culture in a museum means a lot to them as well as to us. But these cars are pinnacles of car craftsmanship, so anyone that's interested in car customization will find something to be interested in here, as well as the story of the culture, the inclusion of women in the culture, and the broadening of the culture to other areas such as Japan. There's a social and cultural history being told here as well. So if you're into cars, if you're into art, there's something for you in Best in Low.